All right, guys. So we have a full-on announcement for Halloween Horror Nights 32, and I gotta say, I'm very excited. It's going to be an icon year. Not to say the Pumpkin Lord thing was an icon, but he wasn't really like a big icon. Here, we're getting a full-on new icon. We've got a lot of houses, and one of which I'm very excited for. Well, two, but we'll get into that in a bit. Anyway, so, I'm sorry to say, let's actually get through the one that are not going to be here. No Five Nights at Freddy's, bummer. No Demon Slayer, as the speculation map was kind of saying. And that's all gone. Like, that's all gone. But what we do get is really cool. So, let's start off with the horror icon for this year. The horror icon for this year is Dr. Oddfellow. So, if you guys don't know who Dr. Oddfellow is, Dr. Oddfellow is part of Jack's origin. He was the ringmaster of the circus that Jack the Clown was a part of, and is actually the guy who killed him and put him away in a box for X amount of years, and then leading to Jack being free and that whole spiel. So Oddfellow is basically going to be connected to all the scare zones, which we haven't really had a icon connected to all the Halloween stuff, all the Halloween Horror Night stuff since really Bloody Mary. That was the last one I remember that's all connected to the icon. So I think that's really cool. So let's go through. So the scare zones are going to be centered around the Zodiac, which I think is really cool. The Titanic, I think, or Shipwreck, and I'm forgetting the other ones. But let's talk about the houses, because that's what we're really here for, the houses. And of course, we're going to start off with the Universal Monsters. Now, in the speculation maps, it was called Universal Monsters Paris. And lo and behold, it will not be named that. It will be named Universal Monsters Unmasked. Now, Universal Monsters Unmasked will feature 4 monsters and a completely new addition to the Universal Monster cast. That's right, we have our 10th monster. So this will be set in the Paris catacombs, and in here, it's going to have the Invisible Man, which I'm very excited about. The Invisible Man is my favorite of the Universal Monster movies. Then we have the Phantom of the Opera and the Hunchback, which I'm like, why is he even here? Why is he considered that? Because the whole point of his movie is that he's not a monster, but whatever. And the 4th monster to be part of this group, Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde. That's right, Mr. Hyde is finally joining the Universal Monsters. Now, you may be thinking, finally? He's already, isn't he already been part of the Universal Monsters? No, he hasn't. In fact, Universal never did a movie about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of part of that era. They technically did with a Abbott and Costello movie with Boris Karloff, but that doesn't count. So and Mr. Hyde is public domain, so you can just fucking use him. Yeah. So I think it's Mr. Hyde is the Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde is the logical option to be part of the Universal Monsters, and maybe there's a project down the line. But anyway, so welcome to the family, Mr. Hyde. Let's move on. So it's really cool to see him. I'm very excited for that. Then you have the next few houses for this group. You have Exorcist Believer, which it will be based off the movie that hasn't come out yet, but yeah, they're really trying to push Exorcist Believer. I heard back and forth that it was just going to be regular Exorcist or Believer, but I guess that confirms that. Of course, we have The Last of Us, which is going to be based more off the game. A lot of people were expecting the show, but no, this is going to be straight off the Naughty Dog game, so that's really cool and hopefully, I will say this, I'm really hoping Last of Us does not become the new, I'm really hoping Last of Us does not become the new Walking Dead, because it's so easy to make walkers look like clickers, if you know what I mean. So hopefully we won't get 4 years of Last of Us. That would not be cool. Moving on, we have our next one in that whole group, and that is Stranger Things 4. Another big announcement. I'm not the biggest Stranger Things guy, but cool. I mean, they're doing the season everyone really raved about. Then you have an IP house I'm very excited about. Well, it's actually not an IP house. It's an original IP, I should say. Dueling Dragons: Choose Thy Fate. If you are a classic fan of Islands Adventure, Dueling Dragons was the shit when it comes to coasters. And the fact that we're getting a legit scare like a legit haunted house with dragons as puppets, that's really cool. It's going to be more or less like it looks like from the sound of it. You're going to be able to choose which like who wins the fight, so you can choose like your ending. That's really cool. At least that's what it sounded like in the description. Then you have another one called The Darkest Deal, which is going to be a house centered around not Robert Johnson, the blues singer Robert Johnson, who allegedly sold his soul to the devil, but it's a guy named Spruce Tree. But I will say it sounds like, yeah, it's clearly supposed to be the Robert Johnson story, so that's really cool. I think that lends itself to a lot of horror, and I can't wait for the soundtrack to that. That's going to be really good. Then you have Yeti. The Yeti is back. I thought it was going to... It's basically the same thing. They're just putting it in a 1950s, like, woods setting instead of, like, the frozen north. So it's going to be like the Yetis are now killing people in a 1950s... This sounds like the Comedy House, really, like Bugs was. So it's going to be cool. And the Yeti Terror of the Yukon House did have some legit gore to it. So... And it was pretty imaginative in how the house was built. So I'm pretty excited to see what they'll do with, you might as well just call it Bigfoot. I don't know why they're saying Yeti. I'm just gonna, like, I don't know why they're calling it Yeti when it should be Bigfoot. It's, whatever. Whatever. Then we have Oddfellow's house, called Oddfellow's House of the Carnival of Monsters, or House of Monsters, or House of Oddities, I can't remember. That's gonna be the Icon house, and feature Oddfellow and all of the monsters that he has procured throughout his travels. Again, they're really pushing Oddfellow, which makes sense because Dr. Oddfellow has been a character that's been like a tertiary character to Jack's story, and we've had like Chance, his Harley Quinn-esque sidekick, but we've always had Oddfellow like around. Like we've always had Dr. Oddfellow in the background in the HHN lore. So it is really cool to see this character take center stage finally after what, 15 years? Over 2 decades, I would say, since Halloween Horror Nights 10 when they introduced Jack to the world. Yeah, I'm just happy for a new icon. Not to say I don't like the other icons. I'm just saying, like, it's nice to have a Halloween Horror Nights that is centered around and really pushing an icon. Because we haven't really had... We did have Halloween Horror Nights 30. We did have that, but 31, we did have the Pumpkin Lord, which felt kind of eh. But now Oddfellow, like, he is full-on... He is, like, the center stage character of this Halloween Horror Nights. And I think we've missed that for icons. Because icons have kind of been like in the background for a while. Like they're just like, ooh, we're here and we're doing stuff. But now it's kind of nice to have like a legit, like, whole thing is centered around this character. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of the announcements for Halloween Horror Nights? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse. Oh yeah, before I forget, Chucky's got a house. How did I forget that Chucky had a house? Yeah, it's going to be called the Ultimate Kill Count, which obviously is going to be a reference to the kill count at Dead Meat, so that's going to be cool. Anyway, I totally forgot to mention that. I thought I'd throw that in real quick. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.